Hello, everybody. So this is Gaz from Full Picture Podcast and YouTube channel. Today we've got Alex. Alex is a broker from AB Finance. Thanks very much for coming on, Alex. Please do an intro because I've not done you justice, and let everybody know that what you're here for. And thanks for coming.
Very kind, Gaz. So, yeah, AB Finance obviously stands for, it's for my initials. Really imaginative the way we came up with that, but we had it sort of a nice ring to it. AB Finance, you know, ABC of finance or whatever. But yeah, going back, not to bore you too much, but worked for a couple of brokerages before AB Finance. Before that, I was working in actually in sales for my ex-girlfriend's father, and who also was in property, and we've also been in property for a fair while ourselves. You know, unfortunately, my dad passed away due to cancer quite a number of years ago now, and he was an accountant. So my mum was a dentist as well. So there were some funds there when my dad was passing away. So with my dad being an accountant, encouraged my mum to start thinking about inheritance, that kind of thing. So one misfortune led to you know, a good thing, I suppose, in going into the property industry. So we've got HMOs in Leeds, and also we established AB Finance as a result of my father leaving an empty office, basically, in my mother's property in Leeds, and yeah, a bit of a nudge up the behind, I suppose, to do something with my life, losing my father, and also, you know, bittersweet in the fact that he left an office there for us to for me to occupy, and I think he would have liked the fact that we started up our business from an office which he used to work out of. So quite, as I say, bittersweet there. I historically, as I've mentioned, specialise in bridging and development finance. And we also do through James Tutty, who is my colleague, and we're also looking at expanding that team as well. So any budding mortgage brokers out there, do give us a shout as well. We are looking to scale this year, establish more connections with introducers and strategic partnerships. I mean, yesterday, for example, we had so I won't mention any names, but we had meals out with three kind of guys we're going to be collaborating with. Well, in the morning, we had you know, a breakfast meeting with a trainer, a letting agent, and an investor himself, also an estate agent. So they do the full package, and they're going to be training. Lunch with an accountant. So really, again, at the top of her game. So out for a Chateaubriand. So you'll get the common theme of networking and building relationships. And then yesterday evening we were over in Manchester at the Refurbed networking event as well. So yeah, we put ourselves out there. We're just chatting to Gaz. I know Gaz is off the booze as well, so we've knocked booze on the head as well for 2024. We're going to do a year off booze. Yes, a year. So really looking to build more connections this year. Anyone that'd be interested in collaborating with AB Finance, we're going to be really proactive in getting our strategic partnerships some business, and also paying some really good returns to our introducers and our strategic partnerships, as well as promoting their businesses to our vast network of 31,000 across on LinkedIn, 7,000, I believe, approaching on Facebook, and approaching 3.5, 4, I believe, on Instagram, and also a vast, you know, vast network in our HubSpot as well from our networking. So we've got a large pool there that we can sort of promote any of our strategic partnerships, and we're looking to collaborate. And we're paying, actually, especially on the bridging and development, 30%, believe it or not, on our referrals. So we'd be delighted to speak to you. That's anyone. You don't have to be, you know, and you know, anyone who can sort of I suppose vet to a certain extent the deal, and you know, make sure it's not a complete time waster. and get that direct referral to us, we will pay 30% of anything we make on the deal. And in combination with that, we've actually reduced our broker fees as well by 50%. On application, and that's on bridging and development finance in particular. Might be slightly higher on mortgages because we don't make quite as much money, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, we're looking at, as I say, really ramping it up this year. And in a nutshell, we are a whole of market broker. We've also got private equity options as well for those seasoned developers out there. So we can effectively fund 100% funding on your larger scale developments. That would be I just want to sort of clarify that that's generally for your more seasoned developers. So not if you're just a newbie into property and you're just looking for 100% funding, it's not going to really happen, because obviously these seasoned investors and the equity investors are looking for the experience there, and obviously good margins in the deal. So the bigger ticket deals with good margins and seasoned investors, we can look at those kind of things, higher the margin, the better. And the other key would be, what's your exit from development finance? We'll source the senior and the equity, and we can look at that. We've also got private lenders on board who can be a bit more flexible and a bit faster than perhaps the run-of-the-mill traditional lenders on bridging and development. And we've built up a really good sort of plethora of lenders, and perhaps some off the beaten track lenders as well, who might surprise you with their flexibility and perhaps lower QS costs, these kind of things. And we've also got, as we say, the term mortgages arm to the business as well now through James Tutty, who is a seasoned investor himself. He's got a portfolio of around 30 units. He's an expert in commercial conversions, and I've done HMO conversions and HMO investor as well. So we cover everything. Walk the walk, talk the talk, as I say, and we'd be delighted to have a chat in the not too distant future. I've probably gone on for a little while there, Gaz, but that's a fairly thorough sort of overview of what we do. We also work with, as I say, the top strategic partners across the country. So we've got accountants, solicitors, all those kind of power team. We can bring the full package. In fact, we were just talking to Gaz about a deal where we're going to bring the full kind of power team to the table and thrash out the way of how we're best going to sort of pull the how we're best going to structure the limited company, the JV agreements, and hence we're bringing on a accountant, solicitor, as well as myself doing the legals. Discussing the best funding options. So yeah, one-stop shop is a bit of a cheesy way of saying things, but we can offer more than just your standard broker using a sourcing system. We built up a really sort of in-depth, second to none, I like to say, knowledge and service. We use the CSC approach to business as well, which we've incorporated and formulated. So that means that consistency, speed, and care for you as clients are our three core principles. So everything that we do throughout the business, those three main core principles and values underpin everything that we do. So yeah, hopefully that reflects well on us, and we'd like to have a chat. Do get in touch.
Very busy, and it's great to hear. So whilst I'm really sorry to hear about your dad, went through something similar with my mum. Obviously she didn't have an office, but she had a business prior to this, which then prompted me to go into business. But what I really loved is that you've taken this forward, and then you're using something that I know he would have loved, which you've mentioned, and then you've made this business, and it sounds pretty good, pretty promising. And I love that you're looking to expand and grow bigger, and that you bring the power teams and that you bring everybody there. But for this podcast, what I want to do is, there's a lot of people that I see around, especially at my events, and people that are contacting me, they're worried about their current financial situation. And I keep telling them, go speak to somebody like yourself, because it's not as bleak as what you think. And there are different options. Like what you mentioned, the fees sometimes can be cut or be adjusted. But also it's the creative funding stuff. So if I was going to refer you to somebody, I would say creative funding, you need to speak to Alex. So let's talk about the creative funding, and those that may be a little bit fearful of going into property. what can they do? Because I get a lot of people approach me to do that. So creative funding, what would you say for them to do to come to you, whether they're new or whether they're in property themselves?
Okay, so obviously I mentioned that private equity share. I mean, the thing that a lot of people sort of struggle with is having capital there available to to get started into in property. So that's where we can kind of help to a certain extent. It's not as easy as a lot of courses make out to get into property, and I'm sure you'll vouch, Gaz. It's usually a pretty rocky road, particularly when you're starting out. People get onto these really positive kind of courses. You can't knock them for being positive about the thing. They want to sell courses and they want to really be positive about your future. But the problem that you might have is capital is one of those things, as well as all the other sort of bumpy roads that sort of lead to these fantastic destinations in the end in property. You really, I think, you need to have a passion for property if you're going to withstand the erosion, if you like, along the path and the knocks that you're going to get. And at the end of the day, without wittering on too much, failure is getting up that one more time than those that just stay down there. So property is definitely a rocky road. So what we can help with in terms of fund is we can, and I know I've alluded to sort of seasoned investors and private equity and perhaps getting 100% funding. Now, 100% funding is not as simple as people make it out. You're going to need funds from somewhere, whether that's deposits in terms of cash, whether it's equity in other property, or whether it's private investors or family funds or family again your family kind of properties as well. So equity in those properties. So what we can help with is realizing equity perhaps in other properties. So we're doing quite a deal coming this morning, which is an auction purchase actually. Our client is purchasing, I think, for 300,000, and he's paid his auction, the deposit at auction. So with it being at auction, we need to move fairly quickly as well, which is it's a bridging deal all day long. So this is an example just for you guys to relate to. He's got a commercial property with some flats, with a flat above, which is worth £200,000. Now there's no mortgage on that. So he's using that second property as collateral in the deal. So he doesn't actually have to have the cash available to put into that deal. So he's going to leverage at 75% on the purchase he's purchasing from auction. So the lender will lend 75% of that on a bridge, less interest. He will then put another first charge on the second property, which he already owns without a mortgage, and that will then fund 100% of that purchase. Another bonus with this lender that we've gone to, they will use AVMs, so there is no need for a surveyor actually to go out and visit the property. So we'll get AVMs across those two properties, and hopefully we can get this deal done within. I've done a deal for a client recently where we got the deal over the line in 10 days. So,
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, we might be even quicker on that. That wasn't actually our record, but we can do deals within 3 or 4 days with the right lenders. So, I suppose that shows you what's possible, but it might take a bit longer because you've got two sets of legals on the properties with this one. But we can easily do it within a couple of weeks. So that's one instance. So that would be sort of using first charges as collateral in deals to get 100% of the purchase price. You don't actually need to have the cash ready, and that would be on a bridge across the two properties. So what he'll then do, he'll do a bit of work to the property. He's actually looking to sell that one, and then he'll either what I'd probably do is refinance the unencumbered one, so then withdraw some cash to go again. But he needs to work quickly on this one, so we didn't want to miss the deal. So a mortgage would take too long to do that. So he's leveraging against that, and yeah, we can get that. So that's one kind of creative finance. We've got all sorts of different options where we can reduce the funding. But to clarify again, you will need some deposits. A lot of people sort of think, a bridge. Oh yeah, that's something that you can use sitting behind a mortgage to bridge the deposit. And that, to just clarify, that is not the case. The bridging lender will need a first charge on the property, as will development finance lenders. So that's one option. Another option which we've spoken about, which I spoke to Gaz about actually, is a deferred consideration option. So that's, or vendor finance. That's a more common kind of explanation and term for that. So lenders don't like you saying vendor finance, by the way. They prefer the term deferred consideration. So the way that would work is, this is a really large deal recently. So I can't remember the exact figures, but off the top of my head, I think the purchase price of it was in London. So the unit was commercial and resi combination mixed use. So it was 1.8 million, I believe, purchase price. I mean, not to do, I don't want to sort of disillusion, or if that's the right word, you guys, this is an example of a large deal. We do smaller deals as well. So 1.8 million purchase price. The vendor agreed to 500,000. I mean, these kind of deals are a test of your negotiation skills as much as anything with the vendors. So if you're good at negotiating, this might be an option for you. So my client actually knew he had a good relationship with the vendor, which always helps, So work on building those relationships. So the vendor agreed to 500,000 up front. And then they would defer the remainder of the 1.8 million purchase price to refinance or sale of the asset. So that was 500,000 up front. I believe the build cost was £1 million, something like that. The lender then funded the full £1 million build cost. This is about the beauty of working with a private lender as well. So a lot of the run-of-the-mill lenders will want to see some skin in the game, but we can bring private lenders to the table as well. So, so they actually released that 500,000, which you could pay the vendor up front. They then released, believe it or not, another 300,000, I believe it was. So that was to start the refurbishment, to pay stamp duty and some other professional costs. So they released all that up front. So that was effectively over 100% fund loan to cost day one. So that's a really good option. He didn't need any money actually on that one.
Wow, yeah.
So if you've got good relationships and which is key, and you've got good negotiation skills, you can get these kind of deals over the line. So that's another option. Other option, so that's deferred consideration. It's not easy to negotiate these kind of deals, but it's a test of you guys. We can get creative with the funding. It's a test of you guys getting stuck in, rolling your sleeves up with the vendors and seeing what you can achieve. Below market value, that's another one. It's very rare to get below market value properties through agents. I mean, it's not going to happen. If an agent is generally selling a property, they're not going to sell it to you for less than the market value, regardless of your relationship with them, because what it sells for is generally the market value. And the vast majority, I mean, we do get the occasional ones which are below market value, but generally the selling price is the market value, unless you're getting direct to vendor or distressed sales, these kind of things. But yeah, if you are looking enough to get hold of a below market value, which as I say is pretty rare, we can leverage up to 100% of the purchase price. Bear in mind that we're going to have to factor in retained interest, because with bridging you don't have actually monthly repayments generally. We can do it on a serviced option, but that again makes the process a bit more complicated. You'll have to look into affordability of that kind of thing, because on bridging generally, the property isn't bringing in rental income, which means that you don't have that rental income to cover the monthly repayments, which means you have to have quite a high income and some cash there in the background to support that. So below market value properties are up to 100% of the purchase price, as long as that's no higher than 80 to 85% of the value. So that's another option. Title splitting, again, we can look at 100% of the value of the units once titles have been split. So if you're buying a unit with self-contained flats, for example, a multi-unit building, we can look at purchasing that at the value, because by splitting up the titles, you're going to increase the value. So we can look at actually leveraging off the value once the titles have been split. As long as we've started the title splitting process, we can leverage against that, and effectively it's a really popular strategy. Actually, there's plenty of people coaching it, and and obviously we can. It's another way of getting 100% funding. Again, quite a bit of competition in these kind of deals as well. So they might be being sold for higher than you might expect. That's another option. I've mentioned sort of cross collateral, second charges. Am I missing any? And private equity and investor funds and using other people's funds is another option, but that's again down to you generally to find those private investors. Those are a few examples anyway there, Gaz. Don't want to whittle on for too long, but hopefully that's educated some of you guys a little bit. Just to mention on a side note, I know you're probably interested in what rates are doing, that kind of stuff at the moment as well. So mortgage rates are coming down, basically, due to, a lot of mortgages, remember, isn't my personal area speciality, but we've seen that, certain mortgages, certain lenders have brought down rates by a full % yearly in recent weeks, since New Year, really. Others are coming down 0.95. Now, stress testing as well have been sort of slackened a little bit as well, which is helping. And also, in recent times, we've had extremely high arrangement fees, up to sort of 7%, just to sort of with some mortgage lenders, just to kind of mean that they can reduce the rate a little bit, so the stress testing kind of works. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're going to see those coming down, hopefully, particularly Q2. Well, this is moving on to bridging a bit. So base rate, we're expecting kind of to come down back end Q2, Q3, hopefully, as things are stabilizing in the economy. I think, at the end of the day, lenders really have to get funds out the door, otherwise they're not making any money. So we're going to see rates coming down a bit. I think we're going to see some really interesting products from lenders as well, because people's jobs are on the line at these banks. They need to get funds out the door, otherwise, they're going to lose their jobs. They're not making money. They can't get paid. So particularly with the more specialist lenders and mortgage lenders, some of the main street and high street banks are slightly different and sort of diversifying. Lloyds, for example, have set their stall out to be, the biggest landlord in the UK. So they're snapping up a lot of properties. So, but your general run-of-the-mill lenders need to get funds out. So have faith. There will be some more affordable lending coming our way throughout this year, and some creative products. And again, actually market-leading lenders, market-leading products on the bridging side. Quite a few of them are variable, so they'll track the base rate. So another thing that people sort of overlook, if you've got a variable rate, we're not going to be seeing, touch wood, we're not going to be seeing those base rates increasing, although we never know unfortunately with the way the economy has been the last few years. But hopefully base rate will be coming down, which will mean that your bridging is getting cheaper throughout throughout the course of the loan. So might be worth looking at some variable bridging rates as well if you are looking at bridging. And obviously on development finance, the majority of those challenger banks, for example, the majority of those will track the base rate. So might be a little bit more expensive at first, but your rates are going to be decreasing throughout the term of the loan as well on these short-term funding options, which is worth remembering. So again, whittled on a little bit there, Gaz, and gone off on a slight tangent, just discussing the current state of the economy. But yeah, hopefully there's going to be more opportunities, a lot of commercials, coming up for grabs as well, commercial to resi kind of conversions, which is another thing we kind of specialize in funding. PD rights as well, are constantly being sort of slackened a little bit. So get talking to sort of your planning consultant, see how you can utilize your PD rights, that kind of stuff. End of the day, there's still the housing shortage and accommodation crisis in this country. So there's always going to be opportunity. We're lucky to be in the UK, which is probably the most attractive property market to invest in. Hence why we get so many foreigners investing. So yeah, foreign nationals, again, we've got really good options for those guys as well on funding. So yeah, hopefully
that's great stuff because I've got a lot of people that from all over the world that will listen to my podcast. I think it was 27 countries last time I was there. Last time I looked, and that was just on SoundCloud. So they're really interested in what they can do. Really, it's who they can trust. So it's good that we're getting you out there and then showing people who they can trust and that you know what you're doing. It's great to hear that things are coming down because I think it's put a lot of people off listening to the narrative of the news. And listen to the narrative of the papers, just coming out there and saying how bleak the world is. It stops a lot of people coming to brokers and stops a lot of people going for mortgages, and they think they're stuck and think they can't invest. They think they can't actually move forward with a deal that is probably a pretty decent deal. I bet there's hundreds of people sat on deals right now and they're thinking, well, I can't go for finance. Well, no, go and speak to a broker. Go and speak to somebody who does creative funding like Alex. Just reach out. And I know Alex, how many you got on your LinkedIn now?
31,000.
31,000 on there. Then what was it? 7,000 on
Facebook, something like that.
Yeah, and 4,000 on your Insta. You put some amazing content out there, so people should just really get out there, start having a look at what you can do, because there are plenty of opportunities, and especially now, especially as Alex has just predicted, that things are coming down. The base rate is coming down, which then will have an impact, won't it? Because the base rate impacts how much they were paying back.
I think the last sort of year or so have been a really frustrating year for brokers generally up and down the country. There are some guys still that are sort of taking risks, and it's at the end of the day, in the long run, property investing isn't that high a risk. You're always going to get capital growth eventually, generally. As long as you do your due diligence and speak to the relevant, make use of your network, speak to the professionals. It was a frustrating year last year. A lot of people sat on their hands wondering if property price is going to crash. And obviously lending, it was much less attractive. But a deal is still a deal. There's still you don't want to let those deals pass you by just because you don't want to pay the interest. If the deal stacks, regardless of the interest, then you're going to be sat a lot prettier when the interests come down. So if you're still making profits on deals with stupidly high interest rates, then we've got to remember as well, they're not stupidly high compared to many years ago. Rates were up at 16%, and we've just been spoiled with these really low rates for quite a while now, and the new norm is not going to be what it was. It's we're going to have to grin and bear it, at the end of the day, I keep saying the end of the day, don't I? But you know, what it boils down to is that we've got a really buoyant market generally in the UK, and you know, it's always going to be an attractive proposition, and risk averse to a certain extent in the to invest in property, you know. And nothing's ever, you know, to make a lot of money and to do well in life, you have to put in the hard yards and take a little bit of risk and take those knocks. And it's a test of property market in particular is a test of resilience um, and consistency. You know, you don't get anything in life for just for free, for nothing. So yeah, stick at it, guys, and you know, we're always happy to help where we can.
Yeah, and there are plenty of opportunities out there. You touched on PD, which is permitted development rights for those that don't know. What that is when you're going to put something through to be developed, it could fall under what's called permitted development rights. So please reach out to a planning consultant. Please reach out to an architect. There are videos on the YouTube, so have a look, that explain this. But what it means is the government wanted to get people to grow, get people to start developing, get people to build more houses, because we've got a housing shortage. So if you can get something on permitted development rights. So what I do within my firm, Alex, I don't know if I've explained this as well. We've got a small team that work for us that find land. So we use Search Land, and we've got a team that work for us, me and business partner Ron and a solicitor. They go out and find stuff. So we're finding plenty of bits of land that people can jump in on, that we get on an option agreement, producing the costs. Then they can come to somebody like you and get the finance for it for a limited amount of cash, really, because they're starting from small plots, which are infill plots, all the way up to large plots that we're finding.
Yeah, and as I say, approaching those direct, you know, Searchland is a nifty piece of software. There's other softwares as well which you can add to your ammo, your arsenal, if you like, and use these to try and look at those. Direct to vendor is another option, which, you know, every man and his dog seems to be sending out letters, but it's about that persistence in trying to find these deals. If you are new into it, it's going to be tricky at first with limited capital, you know, but there are options there, and if you can do it, if you can get those first couple over the line, you get your experience up, and it gets a bit more, a bit less tricky, basically. So yeah, stick at it, guys.
Stick at it. And there are always people that could be distressed as well. So we found something as well earlier on this year. That was apartments, a big apartment block, and it was a building company that had done it, a construction company that built it, and they just wanted an exit, and they wanted to get rid of the last 34, and we managed to secure them at 17.5% below a RICS valuation. Wow, so when we're talking about below market value, below market value should be either.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, there will be there, unfortunately, with people not being able to afford their mortgages and this kind of, and that compounded with the, you know, the price of your heating and everything going up this time, and people are, unfortunately, you know, it's freezing at the moment throughout the UK. Heating costs are going up and up, and you know, inflation is still you know, pretty high, although it is coming down. People can't afford stuff. You know, after Christmas, it's January. There's going to be distressed sales, and we can help with snapping up, as I say, these helping people with these really quick bridges, you know, and getting them some cash, or even you know, pulling some cash out to help them, you know, especially with in businesses, you know, that's we can pull out on second charges. People seem to forget we can pull equity release. We can use that. We can use equity release. We can use second charges to release some much needed cash. Those kind of things, particularly for business purposes. And yeah, happy to help. Another couple of creative options which I didn't really mention are purchase lease options as well, and exchange with delayed completion, these kind of things, you know, assisted sales. There's all sorts of options, but you just need to get those vendors on board with you and convince them. You know, not convincing, what's the word? So you've got to be reputable and confident in what you're presenting to them, and show them how they can make some money, basically.
Yeah, creating the win-wins. So that's what we call it. We just ask the vendor, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come back, we just tell them, okay, so if we can get what you want, would you be open to something else? And then we explain who we are. And I think I am fortunate that I've got a solicitor that works with me who, whilst he's sold his conveyancing firm, he's still got his other firm that he owns and runs. He knows the ins and outs. He was the senior supervisor on it. So I've been quite fortunate. But again, reach out to people like Ron. So Ron is probably there, or somebody else is, you'll find similar, that can help you out by getting a purchase lease option there.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is you can get something secured on minimal money, which then allows you to do due diligence, put into planning. Planning, then you're not buying it. You're buying it subject to planning at the end. If planning's not there, so you do need to do your due diligence. That's where Searchland or Nimbus or anything else will help you out, as well as speaking to the professionals and speaking to Alex. So
obviously,
as Alex mentioned
then
earlier, you've got your power team.
We're always happy to assist with your purchase lease options. As I say, when you're going to be getting the property for below market value at the end, but that's a few years sort of down the line, and beggars really, as I say, it's not the nicest phrase, but beggars can't be choosers, and you can't expect kind of brokers to work miracles for you. We're not miracle workers, and lenders aren't daft. They're not gonna lend to Joe Bloggs off the street who wants to get into property and he wants 100% funding, and he doesn't really, with all due respect, know what he's doing, because it's his first deal, straight off a 3-day course, and those kind of individuals aren't prepared. And also, if they get 100% funding, it's 100% funding, never mind, on to the next one, I'll try that, and the lender's left with a botched job, So we can't work miracles, and I think that the key is, as well, start relatively small and build the thing up, basically. So lenders will want to see the steps that you've taken as well. So another thing which is crucial, I always say, document your journey. So if we can present like a portfolio with pictures of what you've done on your first project, before, during, and after, and a lender can see what you've done, they're going to get more comfortable with what you're doing. Always document. The more professionally we can pull together everything, the more comfortable the lender's going to get, and that's all it's about. It's all about getting lenders really comfortable with you as a client and not seeing you as risky. If you've got a good credit rating, obviously that reflects well on you. If you've got everything packaged together really nice and neatly for them, showcasing what you've done previously, that's going to reflect well on you. Let's just, we try and bring in common sense as well to our approach. So if we can, if you imagine on lenders' desks, they're not just looking, and same with myself, I'm not just looking at one deal. People just can be very expectant in life, can't they? And they expect things done now, even when they're not necessarily doing things now for us, if you know what I mean. So as soon as everything comes into us, then they want it done like that. Whereas we've been waiting for them for weeks for information that we need, and then be realistic, I think. So get everything together, not in dribs and drabs. If we get everything together, between the two of us, well, not the two of us, between my team and you guys, let's pull it together nice and neatly. Get it together. We actually know the way that lenders would like to see things as well, and we can sort of, in clever ways, present it to them that that kind of makes you look better, and also we know which lenders to go to who are going to be quicker. There's generally always going to be a trade-off between speed and rate. So lenders that work a lot faster are going to be generally a bit more expensive. So it's kind of risk and reward, but we can help, get things through as quickly as possible with those lenders by presenting everything as they would want to see things. And if we can, if they like the look of the deal, it makes you look more professional. And we can just smooth things over, really. And that's the same with the power team we can sort of connect you with as well. Just going back to the fact that we're constantly sort of vetting and bringing sort of together the most effective professionals we can, whether that's trainers, whether that's solicitors, whether that's accountants, and lenders to a certain extent as well. We try and make your journey as smooth as possible, kind of like cheesy, but kind of like a Rolls Royce kind of a journey, as opposed to like a rickety old bus or something like that. So, but stopping and starting. We just want it. We're not going to get it. We'll get it through nice and smoothly for you, as opposed to stopping and starting.
Yeah. And that's what's key, mate. It's like when you mentioned earlier about people who will be on the roller coaster of property.
Yeah.
But to manage their expectations, don't expect the world on the moon on a stick. So don't expect the moon on a stick. You've got to provide certain information. You've got to get your credit rating up there. You've got to get some experience out there. So stop building this stuff up there. But you get a decent broker and they're going to get everything through. It's just time consuming, as you mentioned. But just to be patient and to manage your expectations.
Yeah, it is. We do have to manage expectations. You get a lot of, you might get people sort of promising the world and not delivering on it, and it doesn't do anyone any favors. And in the end, it's going to tarnish your reputation, isn't it? So, as I say, we're not miracle workers, but we can do a good job. And always happy to help, as I say. So my intention actually this year is to try and, in business, is to get out of the business to a certain extent, but I'll still be consulting on those deals. But the more specialist kind of niche kind of development finance and bridging deals are the stuff that I'll get my teeth into. Whereas hopefully on the term products, we'll have that kind of organized from the outset as well. So again, a nice kind of smooth journey through your bridging and development finance to get that exit tied up, because a lot of people worry about the exit on bridging, and a lot of lenders and we encourage, we encourage actually to have multiple exits. So ideally, you would have, if we're going to struggle to sell at the end, does it work on a term mortgage anyway? To minimize that sort of loss of profit, and can you whack it onto a term mortgage, which down the line are going to be lower. So if we stress test at today's kind of rates, hopefully down the line it's gonna really stack up.
Yeah, exactly, and things do change. So. You hit the nail on the head earlier. So if anybody's worried about exits, speak to Alex or come and watch some of the YouTube channels that we've got that talks about exits, because they are key. When you're setting up any deal, you've got to work out what's going to happen at the end, especially with bridging finance, because you need an exit. You need to go into whatever you need to do. And exit doesn't mean selling. Exit just means what you're going to do at the end of that product that you've got.
Just to mention again, that the lenders we work with, to set people's minds at rest, we generally try to choose lenders who aren't going to be whacking on 5% penalty fees, at the end of the term. So ask your broker, whether it's me or somebody else, what are the penalties with this lender for me running slightly over term? Because you need to have that sort of safety blanket, and you need to sort of prepare for the worst. A lot of lenders will thrive off that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it's not, it's not completely, extinct or whatever. It's not that lenders will kind of lend money and not communicate effectively to try and with clients perhaps, and then they'll whack on 5% when you run over your term and revert to a sort of 2.5% interest rate when you run over term. Communication is key when you're in bridging and development finance as well. There are products available if you're struggling to sell as well at the end of a bridge or a development. We'd call them development exit options. So those are generally at slightly lower rates, but again, we will reach out to you, you know, throughout and say, you know, and see how things are going. You know, do we need to look at perhaps an exit from this bridge to stop you going over term? And if we sort of communicate that with our original lender, everyone's happy, and you can keep the process nice and smooth throughout, and avoid these sort of horror stories that you hear of people getting made bankrupt and that kind of thing, by using a decent kind of broker who's good working with you throughout the process, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of horror stories out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's key what you said. That I perfectly agree with that. With the keep communication up, because I think if you keep communication up, you're going to do more than one deal. If you don't, and you bury your head in the sand and think, shit, I'm not going to get through here. What am I going to do? And don't tell anybody, then you're going to be scuppered.
I mean, lenders generally, especially the ones we work with, I mean, you do need to be using in my opinion, probably blowing my own trumpet to a certain extent, but you need to deal with a bridging development broker who specializes in those areas. You know, Joe Bloggs, the broker who's got a sourcing system, you know, might be CMAP, you know, fairly new into it. Using a sourcing system, that's your option, without speaking to lenders as well about the ins and outs and the criteria. There's only so much a sourcing system can do. You need to know those. You know, I personally know the bridging lenders inside and out and development finance, so I know the criteria. I mean, we do have a fairly nifty kind of sourcing system for bridging and development finance, but it just gives us an indication you still have to go to them direct because it doesn't take into account any of the criteria. So you can waste a lot of time with those kind of systems. But yeah, as I say, it's key really to have someone that specializes in those areas, to avoid kind of inefficiencies of going backwards and forwards to different lenders, and perhaps, you know, bridging is very bespoke, that certain lenders have an appetite for certain deals, you know, and it's not as simple as just one size fits all, you know. It's you know, some people like to paddle their own canoe and go around the market, but at the end of the day, time's money. You know, do you want to be doing that? And a decent broker will save you more than you're paying them.
Totally agree. I've got a very been in property for the last few years. It's you build up your bank of brokers, you being one of them, and if you go to a broker, they're going to get you the best deal. Yes, you're going to pay money. You see that money that you're going to be paying, but ultimately you're going to get the best deal for you. And without going to that broker, you could be paying more anyway, which would be way over what you would pay in a fee. So that is my top tip, I think.
Yeah, or you get hit by you know, the penalty fees by, you know, that kind of stuff, because you're spending your time elsewhere as opposed to focusing on your projects, you know. Yeah,
exactly.
You need the power team to do what they are powerful at, and their knowledge is powerful at, you know. So yeah.
Amazing stuff, Alex. I appreciate it. I think we're coming up to the end of this, but what I want to do is just reattack. How do people contact you?
So, as mentioned, as we've alluded to, we're very prolific across all forms of social media. LinkedIn, give me a follow. I need to give that a bit of a you know, a bit of a shake up, get rid of some of the dead wood, if you like, and reduce some of the connections I've made, because it only allows you 30,000, unfortunately. So I've got give me a follow though. In the past, I've just you know, accepted everyone kind of stuff. So yeah. LinkedIn, Facebook, again, give me a follow. I'm constantly at the 5,000 max. And you know, same on Instagram. And also, I'm happy for you, but you know, for listeners of this podcast, to give me a WhatsApp if you've got any queries. I suppose, you know, active deals as opposed to, you know, I'm very pushed for time, and just general sort of conversations on how finance works. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say give us a follow across socials. You get a lot of content from there. I might actually bring in some, at half an hour consultations and that kind of thing down the line, but that will be a small fee. But yeah, do reach out to us. We've got email as well. I'll probably have a look at your emails. Well, I will look at your emails. So that's just alex@ab-finance.co.uk. My WhatsApp number. Please be, use a bit of common sense with reaching out and don't, what's a bridging loan kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, my WhatsApp number 077 349 22232. Again, we're systemizing and expanding this year, so it may be that that WhatsApp is responded to by somebody else. But for genuine inquiries, happy to have a chat. And yeah, I suppose thank you very much, Gaz, finally for getting this this podcast sort of booked in, and we've finally got it over the line, haven't we? After multiple failed kind of attempts, just with me flying all over the country. And you'll probably see me networking throughout the country as well. I'm based in Leeds, but I'm in Manchester once a week, one afternoon a week at the minute. Darlington tonight. I'll be down in London a fair bit as well. And we're also going to be on the speaker circuit as well. So if you run an event, we are going to be speaking at events throughout the country. Do give me a shout. We'll be happy to, within reason, to come and speak at your event as well. So thank you very much, Gaz. As I say again, all the best for 2024 to everyone, and look forward to hearing from some of you. Stay positive, guys, and yeah, just go smash this year. Perhaps take a leaf out of mine and Gaz's book and knock the drinking on the head. It's easy as a broker to slip into a bit of I don't know how to put it, but
I call it networking mode. You go out there and people buy drinks and you feel obliged to get a drink.
Exactly, a drinking kind of culture and tradition. Lenders are always wanting to take you out and, do you want to go for some food? And yes, I do actually, but I'm going to be drinking water this time. Food, you'll notice, is a big thing, a big love of mine. I'm always eating breakfast yesterday morning and lunch. With individuals I'm collaborating with, and then actually the networking event we went to, they put on a nice spread as well. So 3 meals out yesterday. A lot of people think it's a little bit what's the word, over the top, or a little bit can't think of the word. Brains tired.
Over exuberant, flamboyant.
Yeah, exactly. Over the top, but I like my food, and what's the point of working hard if you can't, enjoy some of the finer things in life,
Exactly. No, a massive thank you from me. I think it's going to be amazing value for everybody that's listened.
Thanks, guys.
Please re-listen as well if you need to, just to work out some of the creative finance stuff. But reach out. What I'm going to do is I'll put Alex's details on a slide. So just after this, stay on, and on there it'll have email address, WhatsApp, and also links to get to social media, and also then pop it into the comments as well. So have a look in the comments. You should be able to see them in there, and I'm sure Alex, if he picks them up, just tag him in on the YouTube or wherever it's going to be, and then he'll pick them up as well. But thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Marvelous. Let's hope it warms up. Speak to you all soon. Cheers.
Bye.